Hello everyone, and welcome back to Mimileaks. Today, we're diving into a lawsuit that made some headlines in the sports world. On January 3rd, 2025, Noushin Faraji, a former hairstylist at Fox Sports, filed a lawsuit against Fox, Charlie Dixon, Skip Bayless, and Joy Taylor with claims of workplace hostility filled with misogyny, racism, and ableism. As a content advisory, the video will contain content regarding discrimination, battery, and harassment. Unsurprisingly, the aspects of this case that have received the most attention are also the most salacious, like the claim that media personality and commentator Skip Bayless offered Faraji $1.5 million in exchange for an intimate relationship, which she declined, or allegations surrounding media personality Joy Taylor and her purported affairs with sports analyst Emmanuel Acho and Fox Sports executive Charlie Dixon in order to further her career. The forthcoming allegations aren't vague, nor are they typical run-of-the-mill office politics and gossip. Faraji comes forward with detailed receipts and journal entries regarding documented misconduct involving prominent figures in sports media, and, if true, these claims reveal the dark underbelly of a major sports media empire. So this is a video you won't want to miss. For the sake of time, I will fully read the factual background while summarizing the other portions of the complaint to the best of my ability. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. Now, let's uncover the details in this lawsuit. 1. Summary of action, the details of which are further explained in the factual background. So, to summarize, Faraji worked for over a decade at Fox in a hostile environment protective of their talent over other employees. Per the complaint, this, as well as the practice of improperly paying employees, represents the toxic, patriarchal culture at Fox. The plaintiff brings forward action for herself and Fox's non-exempt hourly employees in California. 2. Venue and jurisdiction. Venue is proper, as Faraji worked in LA, the events occurred in LA, and the cause of action, each of them arise from California state law, and the court has jurisdiction. 3. Parties. Faraji, the plaintiff, lives in California and worked as a hairstylist at Fox, part-time, starting 2012, and full-time from 2016 through 2024. The remainder are defendants and either do business or live in LA. First, Fox Corporation, with a reported revenue approaching $14 billion and net income of $1.5 billion last fiscal year, is the parent company of Fox Sports Holdings, Fox Sports 1 and 2, and Fox Sports Productions. Charlie Dixon, who was hired in 2016, is the executive vice president for FS1, or Fox Sports 1, Fox's flagship multi-sport national network. Skip Bayless is a sports columnist, commentator, and TV personality, and co-starred on Skip and Shannon Undisputed from 2016 through 24 during its run. He signed a 4-year contract for $32 million in 2021. Joy Taylor is a media personality and TV host for Fox, co-hosting the show Speak on FS1. Mark Silverman is president and COO, and Eric Shanks is CEO and executive producer, both employed at Fox Sports. They may later be named as defendants based on discovery. Does 1 through 25 will be named on any amended complaint when their information is obtained. 4. Factual background. A. Ms. Faraji is hired to work at Fox. In 2003, Faraji began working at Jose Iber Hair Salon, a sophisticated salon providing cutting-edge styling and coloring for clients. Around 2010, Faraji was introduced by a coworker at the salon to Gail Berman, former president of entertainment for Fox Broadcasting, and Dana Walden, the former CEO of Fox Television Group. Shortly after, Faraji began accompanying the worker to do Ms. Walden and Ms. Berman's hair at their homes and on the premises of Fox. Over time, as Faraji's coworker became busy with other clients, he sent Faraji on her own to do their hair at their homes and on the premises of Fox. In approximately 2012, a makeup stylist who would do Walden and Berman's makeup while Faraji was working on their hair recommended her for a position at Fox. She then started working there as a part-time employee. When hired, she was asked to bring her own tools for her work, and would later discover that all her coworkers received a kit fee for bringing their own tools. However, she would not receive a kit fee until 2019, approximately 7 years after she started working at Fox. In addition, while Faraji was a hairstylist, her supervisor, Gina Peretti, also required that she do the duties of a barber, as in cutting hair. When Faraji complained to her union, they told her that while cutting hair was not in her contract, she was known to be difficult, and it was best to comply with her requests. Accordingly, throughout her tenure, Faraji styled and cut hair. In 2016, Fox hired Faraji as a full-time hairstylist. B. Mr. Dixon gives Ms. Taylor Undisputed as a reward for having S with him. In approximately March 2016, Faraji met Ms. Taylor, an aspiring sports personality that had recently moved from Miami to LA for the opportunity of airtime at Fox. At the time, Taylor did not have a regular position, but would fill in on a day-to-day basis when talent was sick or otherwise missed time. Taylor told Faraji that she recently wed her husband, but he remained in Miami, and that she was lonely in Los Angeles. Taylor then befriended Faraji. In approximately May of 2016, Taylor asked Faraji to meet for a drink in Santa Monica. When Faraji arrived, she found Taylor with an older man, Fox Sports Executive Vice President of Content, Mr. Dixon. As an executive VP, Dixon was responsible for overseeing all content and production on FS1. Ms. Faraji, however, did not know him. When Dixon went to buy them another round of spicy margaritas, Faraji asked who he was. Taylor responded that he was just a friend. Following that night, whenever Faraji would meet Taylor for drinks or food, Dixon would either arrive with Taylor or show up later in the night and leave with her. He would always buy rounds of drinks and or food. From their body language, Faraji suspected that the pair were sleeping together, and although this concerned Faraji, as she knew Ms. Taylor was recently married, she kept her opinions to herself. In approximately June 2016, while at work, Faraji noticed Mr. Dixon in the elevator. Surprised by the coincidence, Faraji found Taylor and told her excitingly, "The guy who always buys our drinks was in the elevator." Taylor quickly silenced Faraji, explaining who he was. Faraji became alarmed and warned her that such a relationship was unsafe. Taylor told her not to worry about it. Faraji continued to be friends with her, but tried to distance herself, as she considered the situation dangerous as well as morally wrong, as Taylor and Dixon were both married. In approximately July, word spread amongst Fox's employees about a new show that was going to be a big deal, as it would star Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. It was known that Fox was looking for a woman with significant TV experience to also star. Therefore, it came as a surprise when Fox announced that Taylor, who was a bartender and radio host in Miami with very little TV experience, would be the moderator of the new show, a sports debate called Skip and Shannon Undisputed. Bayless later disclosed to Faraji that he did not want Taylor on the show, but Dixon was adamant that Taylor should star. At first, Dixon arranged a dinner between Bayless and Taylor, where she arrived in provocative clothing and acted in a provocative manner. When that did not change Bayless's opinion of her, Dixon asked him to approve of her as a favor to him. Reluctantly, Bayless agreed to do so as a favor to a friend. Around August, Faraji attended a dinner with Taylor and her husband, and Dixon and his wife. During the dinner, Taylor's husband became suspicious that Taylor and Dixon were having a relationship inappropriately. Soon after the dinner, Taylor's husband found evidence of the inappropriate relationship and divorced Ms. Taylor. In approximately September, Undisputed started. Taylor requested Faraji do her hair, and then in November, after not allowing anyone to touch his hair, Bayless also requested Faraji to do his hair. C. Mr. Dixon gropes Ms. Faraji after putting her on Undisputed. On January 14, 2017, Taylor had her birthday party at Pearl's rooftop in West Hollywood. Faraji and other Fox employees who were invited attended, as it was part of their job duties to appease talent, and a birthday party is an important event. As usual, Dixon was heavily drinking, buying drinks for everyone on a Fox credit card, and blustering that everything purchased was on Fox's dime. As Faraji was standing near the bar, facing the crowd, Dixon approached her. He asked the bartender for a drink and then placed his arm on Faraji's lower back. He asked how she was doing, if she was having fun, and if she wanted a tequila shot. Faraji felt very uncomfortable by his unsolicited touching and responded, "No, thank you." Dixon then moved his hand lower and started rubbing her body, grabbing her buttocks. Faraji was mortified, but quickly thought to fake an incoming call to escape from the situation. Faraji didn't know who to turn to, but as she knew Taylor was sleeping with Dixon, she turned to her. Surprisingly, Taylor responded to get over it and explained that she herself only had her job because of Dixon, and that Faraji only had her job because of Taylor. She warned that Dixon could take both away. Faraji was terrified and then turned to her coworker, Anonymous, to discuss the situation. Anonymous responded that Dixon was disgusting, that the entire situation was sick, but that it wasn't shocking, given Fox's culture, and that Faraji should remain quiet if she wanted to keep her job. As a single mother who needed the job to support her son, Faraji had no choice but to remain silent. 7 years later, in 2023, Faraji told Faraji that she did not like her or anything about Disputed. Faraji explained that she already scheduled someone for hair on Undisputed when Dixon called her and told her that she must put Faraji on the show full-time. Faraji told Faraji, "I didn't like that. That's not how things should be done." Faraji was stunned and devastated, as she prides herself on her work and earning her accolades. Later that day, while thinking about her career, she was angry that Faraji succumbed to Mr. Dixon's request, as it gave Dixon the feeling that he could grope her for giving her a job. D. Dixon gets rid of a female talent member for refusing to have relations with him. Several years into Faraji's tenure at Fox, a female talent member, Anonymous, hired Faraji to do her hair at her house for an awards show. Anonymous asked that Faraji meet her for the first lunch. There, Anonymous told Faraji that she would no longer be with Fox, as Dixon told her that she needed to have relations with him if she wanted to renew her contract, but she refused. Anonymous further conveyed that 1. Mr. Dixon was doing this to other women talent, 2. she should warn Taylor to be careful, and 3. a talk show host had recently reported Dixon. Following the lunch, Faraji called Taylor to convey what Anonymous had stated. Taylor responded that no one gives a F about Anonymous or the talk show host who had reported Dixon. Faraji later observed that Taylor's remark appeared accurate, as no actions were taken to address the concerns raised. If it was not already apparent, it became even more clear that Fox enabled high-ranking individuals to abuse their authority, exerting undue control over female talent and employees. Fear permeated the workplace as stories of mistreatment circulated. As one example, Dixon deliberately assigned a female talent member who had been harassed and reported it to a show set up to fail. When the show inevitably did fail due to his sabotage, he used its failure to justify terminating her employment. In another instance, a coworker who frequently cried in the hallway due to relentless harassment was fired just 1 week after reporting it. These repeated incidents reinforced an atmosphere where speaking up seemed futile and dangerous. E. Mr. Bayless begins to give Ms. Faraji lingering hugs and kisses on the cheek while putting his body against hers and pressing on her chest, against her chest. After the reporting by the talk show host fell on deaf ears, Bayless began requesting that Faraji give him a haircut once a week in the makeup room. Faraji did, as she was told, and Faraji required Faraji to give haircuts to talent. Initially, during the haircuts, Bayless would discuss his life, his work at Fox, and other innocuous matters. However, soon after the weekly haircut started, Bayless began finding excuses to touch her. He would give her lingering hugs after each haircut, putting his body against her own and pressing against her chest. He then began to kiss her on her cheeks. Faraji was uncomfortable by the physical contact and would make excuses to leave right after the haircuts. For example, "I need to pick up my son from school." In approximately summer of 2017, when Faraji was giving Bayless a haircut, he told her that she was voluptuous. As English was her second language, or is her second language, she was not familiar with the word, and so she asked what it meant. Bayless seemed amused and told her to figure it out. Faraji later asked a coworker what the word meant and was mortified. Bayless then started becoming more aggressive and direct in his advances. Faraji continuously declined, stating she did not date at work as she is a single mom and needed her job. Faraji was terrified and then turned to her coworker to discuss the situation. The two decided that because Bayless was a powerful man and Fox protected powerful men, it would only be to her detriment to report the issue. The two decided that Faraji needed to be kind towards Bayless or risk her job. As a single mother who relied on it to support her son, Faraji felt she had no choice. F. Ms. Faraji has her hours cut after going on medical leave. In approximately November 2017, Faraji hurt her back at work, couldn't move for nearly 40 days, and received workers' compensation. In approximately December, when Faraji returned from her leave, she was not provided her full-time schedule and learned from a coworker that Faraji had promised her shifts to someone else. Faraji called her union for help. Her union informed her that Faraji's actions would be illegal under the law. Faraji then called Human Resources, who confirmed that she was entitled to her pre-leave schedule. On January 5, 2018, Faraji called Faraji into her office. When Faraji arrived, an individual from HR was present, and Faraji was falsely explaining that Faraji did not want her full-time schedule. Faraji grew upset, explained that she did want her full-time schedule, and further explained that Ms. Faraji had been treating her poorly for years. Faraji then had multiple meetings with HR where she explained that Faraji yelled at her, made fun of her, and bullied her. From Faraji's perspective, there was no resolution after these conversations, as she was never informed of any sort of conclusion or action taken on Fox's part. G. Faraji remains on Undisputed and is asked to also join the herd. In approximately the summer of 2018, Taylor was moved from Undisputed to the herd with Colin Cowherd. Taylor again requested Faraji to do her hair. Colin Cowherd also requested Faraji to do his. Thus, every day, Faraji would do Bayless's hair for Undisputed, and then would do Taylor's and Cowherd's hair for the herd. Throughout her entire tenure at Fox, Cowherd was professional and respectful to Faraji and her coworkers. Around this time, after learning of Taylor and Dixon's relationship, Taylor's then-fiancé broke off the engagement and threatened to go public with all that he knew. On information and belief, Dixon paid for the wedding deposits in an informal exchange for her fiancé's silence. H. Mr. Diaz racially and S. harasses Faraji. On May 10, 2019, Bobby Diaz, the individual who puts the microphone on talent, mocked Faraji for her pronunciation of English words and the way she was eating fruit. Faraji did not respond. She kept her eyes glued to the monitor, playing Undisputed. Faraji was present and did not do anything. Mr. Diaz openly gropes, harasses, and is inappropriate with women at Fox. Mr. Diaz has not been fired, reportedly due to his role in supplying substances to numerous Fox employees and talent, even after an incident where he removed his pants on live camera. On December 2024, Faraji sent notice of this impending lawsuit to Fox. Diaz made a mockery of his discussions with HR regarding his interactions with her. He told various employees that Faraji was stupid, defiantly stating that, despite being told not to speak about his discussions with HR, he didn't care, saying, "Who gives an F?" Possibly who gives an S. He further boasted that he would never be fired. I. Taylor again uses her body to get on a show. In approximately February 2020, Taylor asked Faraji to meet her for lunch in Beverly Hills. When Faraji arrived, she found Taylor with a man, Emmanuel Acho. Faraji did not know Acho, but could tell that the two were romantically involved. A few months after meeting Acho at the lunch, Faraji noticed him in the hallway at work. Faraji later asked Taylor if Acho also worked at Fox. Ms. Taylor confirmed and explained that she wanted Acho to eventually recommend her for the show Speak for Yourself. Faraji became alarmed and warned Taylor that she probably should not sleep with Dixon and Acho at the same time, as Dixon is a very powerful man that may become very angry. Taylor told her not to worry about it. She explained that she also is now powerful, and once Dixon was no longer useful to her, she would follow through on her plan to tell the company that he forced himself on her. She would not allow herself to be forced out by Dixon like other women talent. In approximately September of 22, Taylor started to work on Speak. Taylor requested Faraji to do her hair. J. Ms. Faraji is targeted because of her ethnicity. In approximately 2020, Jane Doe, Ms. M., an employee at Fox, began demonstrating erratic behavior. One night at an informal dinner at Mastro's Steakhouse, she grew irrationally enraged with Faraji and screamed, "F you, you Persian bee." The dinner ended after Ms. M broke a glass and then threatened to harm herself. Following the dinner, Faraji's coworker, Anonymous, who is black, reported the incident to HR, explaining that she would not be okay with someone calling her a black bee. Anonymous also had Faraji report the incident to Ms. Peretti. Despite these reports supposedly being anonymous, Ms. M learned of the reports, became increasingly unstable towards Faraji, and every single morning would scream and throw things at her. Approximately 6 months later, Faraji told HR that she believed her life was in danger. HR responded that Faraji should just leave the workplace when Ms. M was having an episode. Approximately a year and a half after, Ms. M was fired. Ms. M's ex-boyfriend, a producer at Fox, shared that HR gave Ms. M a large amount of money in severance. Faraji wondered why Fox rewarded her bully with money. HR eventually apologized to Faraji, explaining that they did not have experience with mental health issues. HR offered Faraji free therapy. Faraji declined it, but began seeing an independent therapist once a week to discuss her life at Fox. Faraji continues to see the same therapist today. K. Faraji believes she has cancer, conveys this to Bayless in an attempt to stop his advances, only to have him offer $1.5 million to have inappropriate relations. Over the years, Bayless continues to make advances on Faraji. For example, the lingering hugs, kisses on her cheeks, inappropriate comments that he could change her life if she acquiesced to having inappropriate relations. Faraji would always make excuses regarding her son, politely change the subject, or make a joke, anything to keep him appeased and her job safe. In July of 21, Faraji developed issues with her left ovary, and it was advised she could have cancer. With a fourth biopsy scheduled, she explained her situation to Bayless, hoping he would take pity on her and seize his advances. Instead, Bayless told her he wanted to be with her. Faraji panicked, began rambling that there were cameras everywhere, that she had a child, and that she did not want him. Bayless then grabbed her hands, began kissing them, and offered her $1.5 million to have a relationship with him. Faraji made an excuse to leave. Approximately 1 week later, Bayless made another advance at Faraji. She responded, "Skip, stop, you have a wife." Bayless responded, "Aren't you Muslim? Doesn't your dad have 3 or 4 wives?" Faraji responded that her father was dead, and when Bayless looked taken aback, she made an excuse to leave. L. Faraji's job is threatened because she does not sleep with Mr. Bayless. On April 12, 2022, Mr. Bayless texted Faraji, "I'm good today." That text meant that he would not be coming in for hair or makeup. On April 13th, Bayless texted Faraji, "Not comfortable coming down there. Just do what you need to do. It's okay." Faraji asked him what was wrong. He replied, "Same stuff, worse." Faraji, concerned about her job, walked to Bayless's fitting room to see if everything was okay. Bayless answered the door, and before she could speak, he began to angrily accuse her of effing Mr. Sharpe. Faraji tried to explain she did not have any feelings towards Sharpe and that she had never slept with him or any other talent member or employee at Fox. But before she could speak, Bayless demanded she come to his car after the show. Faraji responded that she could not come sit in his car as it was inappropriate. Bayless grew irate and then left. On April 14th, Bayless texted her, "If you're distracted tomorrow, I'll wait till Monday, but I can't keep doing this." Faraji told him that she was very confused. Bayless responded, "Trust me, I am far more confused." Faraji then explained over text that she is not sleeping with Sharpe, but Bayless did not respond. On April 15th, Bayless texted her, "Do you still want to do the haircut or just move on?" Faraji responded that she doesn't want to move on from her job and that she will still continue doing his hair. On April 16th, Bayless called Faraji. She did not answer because she was scared. She then called back 10 minutes later. On the call, Bayless again angrily accused her of effing Mr. Sharpe. He said he could tell from her body language that she was effing him. Faraji tried to explain that she was kind to all talent, that included laughing and engaging in conversation. Faraji then asked if he was yelling at her because she refused to go to his car. Bayless answered that she could not talk to him like that. Faraji responded that she could respond however she wanted. Bayless then angrily stated that he heard her talk to Sharpe about her private part. Faraji knew this to be untrue and was embarrassed and angry. She responded that even if she had been dating Sharpe, which she wasn't, it shouldn't matter at all because she only had a professional relationship with Bayless. On April 17th, Faraji arrived at the makeup room, approximately 12 feet by 30 feet, containing 3 makeup and hair sections. Turned on a recording device, put it on a table, and waited for Bayless to arrive. In the meantime, 2 of her coworkers, who were privy to Bayless's actions, went into other talent members' rooms, adjacent to the makeup room, to listen in on the conversation. Bayless then arrived in the makeup room for Ms. Faraji to cut his hair, in accordance with his regular schedule. Bayless knew that the makeup room was always recorded and clearly stated, "This room is bugged." During their conversation, he stated he would hate for her to lose her job, but she can't be doing a big thing with his arch rival. She responded by reiterating that being polite to Sharpe is part of her job. Bayless responded, "Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. I am calling bullshit on you." Bayless then warned that he does not want her to lose her job over this. She responded that she wasn't going to lose her job because she's a great hairdresser. Bayless responded, "I have love for you. I have for 6 years, and you hurt me, and you are ruining this." Faraji again responded, she must be polite to all talent. Bayless then implied that if he stopped requesting her, it would affect her job. Faraji responded that she's scheduled to work every morning at 5:45 a.m., and if he would like to get his hair done, he is welcome to sit in her chair. Bayless continued to threaten her job. Faraji knew that he was trying to pressure her into having inappropriate relationships with him, but she kept repeating that she was professional and that had to be kind to all talent. The following week, Bayless arrived in the makeup room as if their conversations never happened, but Faraji remained on edge. She had worsening nightmares regarding the incidents that took place with Mr. Bayless. Faraji's therapist started using eye movement desensitization and reprocessing to talk her through her interactions with Bayless. M. Ms. Faraji is targeted because of her ethnicity and disability. In October of 21, Faraji's friendship with Taylor ended when Taylor began insulting Ms. Faraji on a personal and professional level. In early June 23, the treatment reached a breaking point as Taylor began openly mocking Faraji's English. For example, she exclaimed she could not understand her accent, and complaining about Faraji's humming, an involuntary, subconscious coping mechanism for her diagnosed PTSD. Taylor then began stating that she needed a black hairstylist. Faraji and her coworkers, who noticed the harsh interactions, hoped that Fox could see through the facade that Faraji has been doing Taylor's hair for approximately 7 years at Taylor's own request, without any complaint, and had been working on textured hair for decades. For example, she was hired to do hairstyles of over 10 black background dancers in CeeLo Green's music video, F.U. Faraji's June 1st, 23 diary states, "She's been acting like because I'm not black I'm stupid, and she keeps saying black girls' hair should be done not like this, not like how you do it. I've been doing hair for 7 years. She keeps making me feel like my English is not good. She keeps making comment like, oh, white girls are dumb." On June 14th of 23, Faraji reported the incidents to Peretti. Faraji's June 14th diary entry states, "By now it has been 7 days that the company knows about this racism and discrimination towards me. I told my boss Gina. I told Cindy all about it." On June 16th, Peretti pulled Faraji into her office and asked if she wanted to leave speak. Faraji explained she wanted to work. Peretti told her that she should just leave the room when Taylor was acting out. Faraji noticed that this was a pattern. When Ms. M bullied Faraji, HR told her to leave the room, and now Taylor is bullying Faraji, and Faraji again told her to leave the room. Faraji's June 16th diary entry states, "I'm very disappointed in how Fox operates racism and bullying instead of getting rid of the bully and wanting to get rid of the victim. Wow." On June 21st, Faraji called Faraji into her office. Faraji explained that while Faraji could still go on every morning and set up for hair, Taylor no longer needed her as a hairstylist. Faraji explained that Faraji was to work from 5 to 9 a.m. and then go home. Faraji asked about touch-ups. Faraji stated that she had spoken to all of the talent on the show and no one needed that. Faraji then asked if she did something wrong. Faraji responded, "You remind me of my dog. And when I take my dog out, he barks at bigger dogs. That's like you." Faraji left the room and cried. To call someone a dog is one of the most offensive insults in the Persian culture. Faraji then hired 2 new black hairstylists to work from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. As Taylor is very picky with her hair, she did not like the work of the 2 new stylists and asked a coworker, who's Latina, to do her hair 5 days a week. The coworker declined. On July 4th, 21st, and 24th of 2023, different talent members asked Faraji why she was no longer providing touch-ups on Speak. The third time they asked her, Faraji explained that because talent had indicated that they do not need them, she was no longer available for touch-ups. The talent members were shocked and said that they needed touch-ups on Speak. Faraji did not feel it was professional to mention her conversation with Faraji, so she explained that there must have been a misunderstanding. Faraji informed employee relations. Faraji became concerned for her job, as this was a common tactic employed by Fox when retaliating against a witness or a target. Fox systematically reduces work schedules and ultimately terminates employment by removing an individual from the entire schedule, using fabricated business necessities as a pretext. And Ms. Faraji participates in an internal investigation, only to be singled out, taken off Speak, and accused of having inappropriate relations with Bayless. In mid-July of 23, Anna Drucker, on Fox Sports' VP of Employee Relations, asked Faraji for a meeting. At the meeting, Drucker asked if Taylor was having an inappropriate relation with Acho. Faraji admitted that the two were in a relationship of that sort. Faraji shared this information because she didn't think it was a big deal, as Taylor and Acho had similar amounts of power at this time, and because she didn't think Taylor or Acho would physically harm her for providing this information. For example, Acho always had been respectful to Faraji, never threatened or hurt her. On July 21st, Kelsey Doe of Employee Relations asked Faraji for a meeting. At the meeting, Doe told Faraji that there had been complaints of her humming. Faraji explained that her humming is an involuntary subconscious coping mechanism for her diagnosed PTSD and that everyone at Fox knew that she hummed. Faraji further explained that she has been humming since she was a child, has been humming her entire tenure at Fox. Her humming was exacerbated in stressful situations, and although she hates it and wants it to stop, she does not even realize it when she's doing it. Faraji further explained that if anyone was now complaining, they were only doing so to hurt and embarrass her. Doe thanked Faraji for the information, abruptly changed the conversation, and then quickly asked whether she had made public comments regarding Dixon and Taylor having inappropriate relations. Faraji became very scared, as Mr. Dixon had previously assaulted her and Taylor had warned her that he would fire her if she said anything, and responded that while everyone in the company knew about their relationship, she did not have any information and did not want to comment about it. Doe then tried to end the conversation and asked Faraji if she had any questions. Faraji then began crying, asking why such a swift investigation took place regarding her humming, but no one cared about Ms. M threatening to kill her or others mocking her English. Faraji then explained that all she wants is a safe, normal work environment, but everyone mistreats her because there are no consequences for them. While she focused on others for mocking her English, she was thinking of her interactions with Dixon and Bayless. On August 3rd, Faraji told approximately 8 of Faraji's coworkers to not associate with Faraji as she had a pending case with HR. Faraji was confused as, from her perspective, she did not. Employee Relations had only called her in to answer questions about Miss Taylor. On August 9th, Faraji told Faraji that her services were officially no longer needed on Speak. Faraji's diary entry for that day states that they are only taking me off the show because I reported Joy. After I reported that they took me off the show, this must be illegal. On August 21st, Kim Bouvet, Fox Sports' Executive VP of HR and Business Operations, and Drucker asked Bayless for a meeting. When he arrived, Bouvet and Drucker told him not to worry and that his job was safe. They then started interrogating him on whether he had a romantic relationship with Faraji and whether she had offered him that. When Bayless responded truthfully that they didn't, they again told him not to worry and that his job was safe, heavily implying they wanted him to say otherwise. The circular conversation took place for approximately 20 minutes. Following the meeting, Dixon called Bayless and asked why he didn't just lie. Bayless responded that he cares about Faraji, and then Mr. Dixon responded, "Who cares? I can get you a better-looking hairstylist." The investigation is indicative of the role of HR in employee relations as a protector of abusers and wrongdoers. Inexplicably, Fox has allowed human resources and employee relations to be personally intermingled with other departments and high-level decision-makers to their own benefit. For example, Afis Tijani was promoted from HR to a producer after he turned a blind eye to various allegations. Shortly after his promotion, Faraji noticed he was at Fox early in the morning, asked him why he was there so early, and he responded that he was now producing the show because our great boss, Charlie Dixon, who has the power to do it, has made me a producer. Faraji asked, "That's all you need? A powerful man? You don't need experience?" Tijani pompously responded that she was correct. Oh, Faraji learned that Mr. Dixon wants her fired. In late August of 23, Bayless learned that Sharpe and Faraji had never been romantically involved. Subsequently, Bayless pulled Faraji aside for a conversation. During this, Bayless apologized for accusing her of having inappropriate relations with Sharpe, disclosed details regarding his August 21, 2023 meeting with HR, and further disclosed that Dixon wanted Faraji fired because she knew too much and was talking. Bayless also disclosed that he believed Dixon kept his wife on Fox's payroll to keep her silent about his affair with Fox's employees, his multiple affairs with Fox's employees. Bayless asked Faraji out to dinner and wanted to continue the conversation, but Faraji declined, stating that she cannot do anything because if it gives even an inference of a non-work relationship, then her job might be threatened. On October 18th, Bayless told Faraji that Dixon was continuing to push him to ask for a different hairstylist, but that Bayless refused. Faraji's diary entry for that day states, "I feel desperate. I don't know how to save my job. Charlie is the big boss, and I'm just a hairstylist with no power. Skip said that Joy is telling Charlie to get rid of me, and that's crazy." Bayless told Faraji that Dixon had threatened his job because he continuously requested Faraji, stating that he would rather have another pretty girl on Undisputed over Bayless anyway. On December 21st, Bayless told Faraji that he still loved her and confided that Dixon was the one who had told him that Faraji was sleeping with Sharpe. Bayless then again tried to have inappropriate relations with Faraji. Her diary entry for that day states, "I said, Skip, I'm only interested in working with you and continuing our friendship with you and nothing else." He said, "You have no idea that you are losing everything. I don't know what he means by that, and I hope he doesn't take me off the show. It makes me sick to my stomach. It's really hard for me to keep working like this. I hope for God's help because Fox is supporting people like Charlie and Skip." P. Faraji lets it be known that she will support a coworker. On December 17th of 23, one of Faraji's coworkers was indefinitely taken off schedule after she took offense to bullying and racist comments made by a Fox NFL host. Over the next few months, Faraji made it known amongst the department that, if needed, she would speak out on her coworker's behalf. Peretti responded, "If it's too hard for you here, why don't you quit?" and said, "I don't regret anything I did to coworkers or a different coworker." This was especially cruel, as she knew one of the coworkers had tried to unalive themselves. Faraji reached out to Drucker and asked her if she should get an attorney. Drucker responded that she did not need one. Q. Ms. Faraji is fired. On approximately June 24th of 24, a talent member disclosed to Faraji that Undisputed was going to be canceled, and that Bayless was going to be fired. Faraji grew internally anxious that Dixon was trying to get her fired. Later that week, on Monday, Faraji gave Bayless a haircut. During the haircut, Bayless told her about a new opportunity that he was expecting outside of Fox. She asked him if he would be coming back to Undisputed, and he replied that he would. Bayless told her that he fantasizes about having inappropriate relations with her and asked how much money it would take for her to do that. Faraji stated that she already refused $1.5 million and that her answer wasn't going to change. Bayless replied, "The more you say no, the more I want you." On August 2nd, Undisputed was canceled, Bayless was fired, and Faraji was taken off schedule. Faraji told Faraji that there was no longer a need for her. That same day, Bayless asked Faraji to walk him to his car on his way out. Faraji felt that she had no choice but to walk him to his car. Once at the car, they noticed Dixon in the parking lot looking at them. Bayless told Faraji, "F Charlie. If you want to sue him, then go for it. F him. Charlie is not going to sleep tonight. He's scared of what I'm going to tell you. F him." That same day, Faraji reached out to Fox and asked why she was taken off schedule. She explained that although Undisputed had been canceled, she had worked on The Herd for over 5 years, Speak for over 1 year, and talent continued to request her. Fox didn't provide a substantive response, but said they would investigate. On August 5th, Faraji asked to give Mr. Silverman a haircut in the same manner she had been doing for 7 years. Faraji then reached out to Fox to ask what she should do, and she didn't want to let him down. The next day, Fox again did not provide a response but said that they were continuing to investigate. On August 8th, after finishing their investigation, Fox was finally able to muster the following pretextual reason for firing Faraji. They can only afford to have one hairdresser work on all 3 shows. Faraji's fears actualized as she realized that she had become the target. Fox systematically reduced her work schedule and ultimately terminated her employment by removing her from the schedule entirely, using fabricated business necessities as a pretext. Guided by its attorneys, Fox then implemented the revised schedule, assigning a single hairdresser to cover all 3 shows for approximately 3 months. Once Fox believed it had sufficiently justified its legal standpoint, they reverted to their long-standing scheduling and arrangement, which included 1 hair and makeup professional in the morning and another set in the afternoon, the same arrangement that had been in place for years during Faraji's tenure. In addition, Fox employed a barber to work exclusively on the new morning show. R. Ms. Faraji's life after working with defendants. For weeks after being terminated, Faraji remained conflicted as to her steps. She remained quiet about her experiences as she was fearful, believing that Dixon might hire someone to kill her as she should go public. After many therapy sessions, Faraji has concluded that she never wants to work with Bayless again, feels ashamed for working with him for so many years, and is able to better control intrusive thoughts of Dixon hurting her again. In response to her feelings of shame, embarrassment, and fear, her therapist told her that she'd only been doing what she thought she needed to survive. At this point, Faraji seeks justice. She knows that Dixon used his position of power to coerce women into having inappropriate relations with him and used it as a justification to grope her. She knows that Dixon did not immediately fire her after Taylor and Faraji had a falling out, only to appease Bayless. Despite Faraji being an excellent hairdresser and continuously being requested by talent, she was shrunken down to how much she could appease Mr. Bayless, and once Bayless was gone, so was her job. To date, talent continues to ask for Faraji at Fox, including Mr. Cowherd, who posted a poll on his Twitter page at The Herd on December 18th, 2024, asking if he should get a haircut, with 63.2% responding that he should. Faraji also continues to be requested by and works for high-profile clients who do not abuse her. Following Faraji's departure from Fox, Bayless began featuring his wife on his podcast. On information and belief, he changed the cell phone number he maintained for many years, presumably in the hopes of removing and deleting incriminating messages, and presumably after receiving notice of this impending lawsuit. Cause of action 1 through 6 are against Fox and for the plaintiff as well as the class. While I summarize each one, I'll display the main claims supporting each cause on screen as we go through them. The first cause of action is failure to pay minimum wages for every hour worked. The second cause is for failure to pay any overtime wages as defined by law. Third is failure to reimburse for out-of-pocket expenses incurred for work purposes. Fourth, failure to pay all wages upon separation, as wages should have been paid in full at the time of discharge. Fifth, failure to furnish an itemized statement for wages for not receiving a statement accurately or timely. Sixth, unfair, unlawful, or fraudulent business practices, as Fox denied compensation for work and expenses. The following three causes, 8, 9, and 10, are for hostile work environment. The eighth is due to sex or gender. It's against Fox, Dixon, and Bayless due to unwelcome advances, conduct, and comments. Ninth, against Fox, Bayless, and Taylor, as all parties harassed the plaintiff for her perceived race, her accent, and in other ways attributed to the fact that Faraji is Iranian. 10th, hostile work environment due to disability, against Fox and Taylor for harassment relating to the PTSD diagnosis and the plaintiff's coping strategies. The 11th cause is failure to prevent harassment against Fox. It's alleged not only is the environment one in which talent can harass employees with impunity, but when made aware, there is a failure to remedy it, and they ensure silence about it through NDAs. 12th is for negligent supervision, hiring, and retention against Fox, as they either knew or should have known of Dixon, Bayless, and Diaz's propensity to harass women, and of Peretti and Miss M's prolific bullying and threatening of employees. The 13th cause is for retaliation against Fox, because due to the closeness in time between a protected activity and Fox's response to it, a reasonable assumption can be made that the two are connected. And finally, the 14th cause against Fox for wrongful termination, as the plaintiff endured hardships from a termination that violated California law. Faraji prays for judgment against Fox for class notification and class action certification, compensatory and liquidated damages, restitution, applicable penalties, pre- and post-judgment interest, attorney and experts' fees, an injunction permanently restraining Fox from unlawful wage practices, and an injunction directing Fox to take effective measures to prevent harassment and retaliation, including, at minimum, terminating Dixon, Taylor, Diaz, and Peretti, ooh, that's spicy, as well as conducting comprehensive investigations. And they demand a jury trial. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Mimileaks. If you found the content interesting or eye-opening, then don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and tap the notification bell so you never miss out. Your support helps me continue to bring you the most compelling and important stories. And what do you think about the case? The allegations or the parties involved? Fox is poised to broadcast Super Bowl 59 on the 9th of February. Perhaps they should have settled to avoid tension with the NFL, who have their own issues, and other partners. Or maybe they're confident that it will appear meritless in the court and in the public. Either way, I expect we will see more headlines about it in the near future. That wraps things up for this video. Until next time, stay informed and stay curious.